This is the Nurse Nurturer, nurturing nurses one message at a time. Hi, my name is Viola Pierce. I am the Nurse Nurturer here to talk to you about family. Family is super important. Are we correct about that? Family is so important. When God formed the world, He formed family first. He didn't form your job first, He formed the family first. We want to make sure that we take care of our family. We need to love them in the same way in which God loves us, unconditionally. We want to make sure they know that we're there for them 100%. The people that will cry at your funeral are the people that you should care about the most. You shouldn't care about those other people that won't even attend your funeral. Loving them unconditionally, what that looks like, we don't necessarily just take in whatever they have to give to us or take whatever they dish out, because sometimes they're going to dish out love and sometimes they're not going to dish out that love. If they offend us in any way, we want to speak to the offense. Still love them unconditionally, but place a boundary around that offense. When our family offends us, we need to be the kind of people who speaks to the offense, but then we forgive it. This tree, it grows. It's sort of like the family. The roots in the tree are those people that are rooted in you. Those people that will never go anywhere. You know, like my husband with his fine self. Those people are the people that you should keep in your life. And then there's the branches. When something gets too heavy for them, they're gonna fall. Leaves just kind of fly and go. They fly away with the wind. They're unstable. You need to understand how each person stands in your life. The way that we should love our family is in the way that God loves us. God loves us unconditionally. He wants us to be our best. He does two things for us. Well, He does a lot of things for us, but the two things that He does for us is He loves us unconditionally. He puts us first. And so that's what we should do for our families. Now, work is important, don't get me wrong, because that's what puts food on our table, right? But at the same time, family is more important than anything. Now, T.D. Jakes talked about forgiveness, and he said that unforgiveness is like eating the poison and expecting the other person to die. You don't want to be that unforgiving person. Now, that doesn't mean that you let that person come back and do that same thing to you, because you teach people how to treat you. You give them boundaries for you. But at that same time, you still want to make sure your family is loved in a way in which no other is loved. Say, for instance, you have family that are not so good to you. Just to say that. They're like an apple, right? So they may fall, and that apple rots because they're being rotten at that moment. As they fall and that apple rottens, then that seed from that apple is replanted. And once that seed is replanted, then that seed starts to grow. And it starts to grow because you have put into that apple what that apple needs, the nutrients in which that apple needs in order to grow and grow better once it grows again. Loving yourself is the first part of loving your family. You should love your family with your overflow. You should come to each relationship with 100%. When you come to each relationship with 100%, then you're able to give them a little bit of what you got. Into nursing, and we see the patients that we have to take care of. We see all the things that we see during the daytime, which are things we just can't unsee, unfortunately. And it creates a deficit in us sometimes. When I think about loving my children, I think about 10 things that won't matter 10 years down the road. If it's not going to matter 10 years down the road, then it doesn't matter now. And especially when it comes to loving your spouse. If it's not going to matter 10 years down the road, then don't matter. So therefore, we need to love them unconditionally. This is the Nurse Nurturer, nurturing nurses one message at a time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.